Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, Caliban. We're all Nehellenia now.
We're a couple of magical people ready to moon eternal make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 171. Ai Yue ni Hata Shinkai Makai no Tatekai in Japanese. The English translation, For Love, the Endless Battle in the Dark World. And the German title, Nehellenia's Traumwelt, or Nehellenia's Dream World.
Yes, Traumwelt?
Traumwelt, yes.
Yes. Yeah, the W's are V's, I don't know. Whatever, we won the
They're
war.
German.
Did you hear Makai in there? Because that should give you an idea of what's going on. In my fan sub, the title was, For Love, the Endless Fight in Hell.
Oh my god.
Right? Makai. The Hell Tree.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Makai Tree.
So, that's an English title. 5 roses for that one. The Endless Fight in Hell. Feels like that sometimes, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh my god. We're all just... I could be Nehellenia. You could be Nehellenia.
I could be Nehellenia.
We're all just T-1000 dollies that just turned into her. And then good times were had by all. But the fight continues.
She's everywhere.
The fight goes on.
And on and on and on.
And on and on and on and on. And, no spoilers, but we kind of... once again, they try to go... But she's kind of cool. Like maybe there's some backstory to her. No, there's not. She's just the same as she always was.
I'm trying to convince you that
she's not talking about.
Bad.
Look, she's got me talking about her. She must be doing something right?
She has to, yeah.
People are talking about us, and they do that on Spotify. We have a feature where you can answer the question, "What did you think about this episode?" on every episode of our show on Spotify. And we've got a couple comments on our show 2 shows ago. 169, The Cursed Mirror, Mamoru Caught in a Nightmare. Listener Ribbon says, when we say stars is good, the audience, when we say stars is good, we are definitely not counting stars, capital S.
Okay, yeah. I think that makes sense.
Making a connection to supers there. And my question is, but come on. Make the distinction then.
Okay. We should have said big letter S right from the start?
No, we should have said that it's the separate season or something like that. You should have said, hey, I can't wait until you get to see the 7th episode of Stars. Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
That's true. That's true.
And I was thinking about this the other day. Speaking of the Makai Tree, we could add a V8. That is to say, for people who are not 80 years old, we could have had another Ailin On. They decided we've got 8 episodes or 7-8 episodes to throw away, basically, for whatever reason. Not enough manga to fit the thing. So what do? And in the past, they went, let's, out of whole cloth, invent a incestuous pair of twins who have a tree from space, and there's all kinds of things going on. Everybody's trying to get their memories back. And instead, they're like, what if we just like the last 7 episodes of the last season and we just photocopy that and just run it off and just do that? So
we're cool with that, right?
That's something else that the show can never give me now is an Ailin On 2, The Revenge.
Well, that would be good.
Not them, though.
Yeah, something else.
Just something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Just some weird...
A new story.
Side story. Yeah, something else. But anyway, where are we? But thanks for your comment, Ribbon. And you're right. I understand. I know what you guys are talking about. And we had one more comment from episode 170, Night of Destiny, the Sailor Guardian's Ordeals. Listener Cosmic Rain says, Nehellenia's curse strikes again. This time she changed the podcast intro music from Sailor Star Song back to Moonlight Densetsu. Does her evil know no bounds? All right, listen here, punk. Look, you try editing an episode that for over 4 years has the same theme song, and then suddenly it's a different theme song, and maybe you've got a template saved that you make new episodes from, and you pulled up the wrong one. All right. I blame it all on Nehellenia.
I think that's perfectly
anyway,
all right.
thank you for being a keen-eared listener at Cosmic Rain, and the problem has been fixed. If you want to answer the question, what did you think about this episode, or give us tips on how to make the show, you can do so by going to Spotify on your phone app or on your PC and answer our question.
So, Cal, question for you.
No. Look, I made a mistake. What?
Would you like to tell us what happens in today's episode?
You actually would.
Yeah?
For the first time in a long time.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Okay.
For our opinions of the episode. But yeah, let's get into it. And of course, it begins where we left off last week with sailors Neptune and Mars running through a mysterious forest and Nehellenia promising to unleash her greatest nightmare on them. The Senshi are surrounded by a circle of purple flame. Like Prince. Like they're at a Prince concert.
Yeah, no
like,
kidding.
Like if Paisley Park burned down.
Oh my God.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called the beginning of Sailor Moon Stars. And if the villain won't leave, go crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
The flame draws in towards the Senshi so close that Sailor Mars's skirt begins to burn away. Now we're getting somewhere. But Neptune, the water-based Senshi, the Senshi named for the Roman god of the ocean, that Neptune, she fires a deep submerge that quenches the flames and heads right for Nehellenia. But the villain dodges the blast as Rei looks down to see that her skirt is still intact. Neptune says, "You can't deceive us with that kind of illusion, right, Sailor Mars?" And Rei's like, yes, yeah, of course. Illusion. Though outwardly confident, Rei thinks, Mishiru's intuition is so much stronger than mine. And out loud, she says, it must be because of her experience. And Neptune says, I do have more experience than you. Maybe I can teach you a few things.
Oh my God.
I like where this is going. Mars is like, oh my God, you can read minds? And Neptune says, are you serious? You said it out loud just now. And Rei is like, did I really? Oh, what's wrong with me? Doesn't this have the beats of like a flirtation?
Yes, absolutely.
There's always that thing where a character is like, looking at another character, thinks they're cute, and they're like, but the butter wouldn't melt, in her mouth or whatever. And then somebody's like, do you want some butter? What? No, I was no, I'm fine. Right, you're unconsciously letting things out. Yeah,
exactly.
Nehellenia sees this and is probably thinking, come on, Yuri on your own time. But she says, okay, try this. And she launches a web-like blast all around them, which seems to cast away the illusion of the forest that they were standing in and leaves only the dark red void of her nether realm. Or as we like to call it, hell! I like the show. Oh, you don't like my forest? Fine. Forest. No forest for anybody then.
Yeah.
Just turns it off. Okay, we'll fight on the desktop. Fine. The image of Nehellenia herself seems to dissolve into the air, and the Senshi search desperately around her until Neptune is grabbed by the legs and dragged apart from Rei towards another image of Nehellenia. And the bonds that hold her are Nehellenia's hair.
Oh, yes.
Her luxurious hair. Which, all right, she could shoot webs, I guess. But this is like web-like. Has her hair supposed to have been? I don't think about a spider having a head of luxurious hair.
No, I don't either.
But I suppose, okay, well, she's going to do a Medusa thing now.
It reminds me of Kalanite, because she could do stuff with her hair as well.
Whips her hair back and forth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Did I accidentally listen to a Willow song the other day and was like, this is a jam?
Really?
Yeah. I think Willow has turned into, quite a R&B songstress.
Really? That's impressive.
Or not, if she wants to be. Is it R&B? Do people say R&B anymore?
I think people say R&B.
I'm going to have a V8 and think about it.
Okay.
Mars prepares a flame sniper, but Nehellenia lifts Neptune up and uses her as a shield, staying Mars's attack. A tense standoff ensues. I didn't know we were going full cop show in this episode of Sailor Moon. That's where we are. Nehellenia says, oh, you're not going to shoot? Then how about this? And she blasts dark lightning at Rei, who leaps out of the way, still training her flaming bow at the pair of women. Mars agonizes over whether she should fire, but Nehellenia tightens her hair grip on Neptune. Bayonetta, that's it.
Oh, okay, sure.
And fires another blast of lightning that knocks Mars to the ground. As she struggles to rise, Neptune yells, shoot her! Have you forgotten our mission? Yeah, go for the good wound. Shoot the hostage.
Oh my God.
Neptune says, we swore we would protect our princess no matter what. Yeah, but did Ray make that oath? That might be a future thing.
You think so?
Or a past thing? Yeah, this is a high school kid, right?
Yeah, that's true.
In the future, they're all like adult women who are, the guardians of the Crystal Moon Kingdom.
Right.
Millennium guy, Neo, whatever. And in the past, millions of years ago, they were all different people.
True.
With the same souls, or whatever you want to say.
Yes.
Who are also soldiers for the Millennium Kingdom.
Yes.
This is a high school girl who sweeps leaves in her grandpa's shrine. Did they make that oath?
I don't know that they did.
I don't remember them ever putting their little white gloves together and making an oath.
I don't think they necessarily did.
Well, this is the episode where we see them commit to that oath. Spoiler for what's coming up. Ray thinks about her friend and princess, Usagi, and we get a quick flash of Usagi trudging through the snow, where we left her before. Neptune says, if I fall, you'll survive. You will protect the princess. But Nehellenia says, shut up, and squeezes her even more tightly. Ray is torn between the vision of Usagi and the reality of Michiru's torment. And she thinks, I can't waste time here. I've got to protect her. In the name of the Sailor of Flame, Sailor Mars. She struggles to her feet and calls out, Mars, Flame. But Nehellenia says, will you shoot your comrade? Go on, do it.
No. Come on, do it. Seriously, do it. Come on, do it. No. Come on, do it. Do it.
Neptune says reassuringly, it's okay. Do it. Do it. No. Come on. Come on, do it. I love it. Do it. And Nehellenia is like, what? And Sailor Mars yells, sniper! And an arrow of fire launches from her hands towards Neptune and Nehellenia. The arrow skirts past Neptune's body and hits like the 2.5 inches of Nehellenia's torso that's hidden behind her and goes straight through her. Just through and through.
Yeah,
right through the meat. Nehellenia screams in pain, or more accurately, the glass dolly that appeared as Nehellenia screams, and she shatters into a cloud of glass fragments. This is the closest that you can possibly get in Sailor Moon to the bad guy being shot in the face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the anime, the shojo anime equivalent of
diplomatic community.
Just been revoked.
Or like at the end of RoboCop, when he's got the guy and he's like, yeah, you're fired.
Yes,
Thank
exactly.
You. That's the closest we'll get.
Yeah, I think so.
You've seen Speed, right?
I have.
What happens in Speed?
They get on the bus and they can't stop.
Right, but also in the beginning, the bad guy takes Jeff Daniels hostage.
Oh, that's right.
And then to get out of this situation, Keanu Reeves just shoots Jeff Daniels. And then Dennis Hopper's like, what the fuck? And they don't get Hop Daniels. They don't get Hop Daniels. But the guy from Easy Rider. They don't get him. But he gets a medal. And then the idea is like, well, I knew the right move in that situation was to, take the hostage out of the situation, go for the good wound. And then the whole movie, Jeff Daniels is like, you shot me, you prick.
Oh, we got all the balls in the world right here, man.
Sailor Mars says, I did it, as the void around them becomes a forest once more. Wait, isn't the forest an illusion too?
Yeah, it is.
Was that an illusion, not an illusion?
I think
If they take the bad guy out and she took the illusion down, why does it go back up? Shouldn't it stay down?
It should stay down.
And why is it Neptune like, you crazy bitch? You almost shot me. No, I guess she asked for it. She's like, well done. With your sharp intuition, you're a true Senshi. And as she approaches, she staggers weakly and she falls face first into the ground.
Yeah.
And as Mars approaches her, she too becomes affected by something and collapses next to Neptune. Now I'm going to give you a spoiler. We never find out why this happens.
No, you're right. We
Everybody
just need
else
them to faint right then.
Yeah, I guess there was an exertion to what they did.
I guess so.
Or there's some crazy gas, but they both fall face down in puddles. But they don't drown because mirrors appear below them and absorb their bodies into them. We pull out and we see that Nehellenia is watching this in her own mirror. And she says, fools, fighting me in my own nightmare is useless. We see Nehellenia's throne room with Mamoru at her feet, and the image of the forest gives way to an image of Usagi, trekking still through the snow, and as the camera zooms into the mirror, we join her in her frosty wasteland. They're doing some good stuff with, we're seeing this, but then we're kind of like going into the thing, like pulling out, and it looks like we're watching a scene, but we're watching it in the mirror.
Sure.
It's nice playing with perspective. Camera moves.
Yeah, right.
As they say. Her feet are bruised and swollen, and she shivers against the cold as she staggers and falls to the ground. She says, "Mamo-chan," and tries to get back up, and Nehellenia watches all this from her throne. She says, "Poor girl. Look, Prince. Your princess is coming for you." We see Mamoru's eye flash gold, but he gives no response. Nehellenia says to Usagi, "I'm sure you're cold. Even your heart is freezing. You can give up any time. Here." And she waves her hand, and in the mirror, a patch of spring flowers appears in the snow. In a blink, the snowfield around her has become a sunny, flower-strewn meadow. Getting very Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
here
for
a little
sure.
bit.
Poppies will put them to sleep.
Frank L. Baum is going to pay a fortune in legal fees on this one. Usagi marvels at this sight, but we switch to a different locale. We see endless ancient columns with light streaming between them. Imagine the Great Hall of Khazad-dûm if somebody ripped the mountain off the top of it.
Sure.
Well, there's an eye-opener and no mistake.
Sailor Venus and Sailor Pluto are running full tilt between the columns, trying to stay ahead of a pack of glass dollies. As they run, they are brought up short by the appearance of another group of dollies right in their path. Pluto says, "This way," and the two run down a side path between the columns, but another posse of evil dollies appears before them, and they skid to a halt, Venus falling on her butt. As Pluto looks around desperately, the backdrop fades and changes to the edge of a deep crevice, a long, rickety-looking rope bridge extending to the other side. From out of the mouth of a cave near the edge, we hear the giggling of dollies, and they soon appear, still pursuing our heroes. Pluto steels herself and says, "You go ahead, I'll hold them here." But Venus is like, I go across the bridge? Sure. Pluto says, "Once you're across, cut the rope and forget about me. In times like this, we need a leader who will unite us. That's you, Sailor Venus." Yeah! Finally, somebody's making some sense. Also, am I crazy?
What?
Or did we make these picks last week?
We did.
Michiru? And Pluto and Minako? Did you prompt that?
No, I did not.
Totally unprompted.
Totally unprompted. We did
Organic.
We saw Rei and Michiru last week briefly, but Pluto and Venus totally unprompted. And I remember you said that if you want to see Pluto get mad, set her up with Venus.
Well, one of us deserves a sticker. Why not both of us?
Okay.
For that.
Sounds good to me.
Picking everybody's favorite pairing. And a pairing, I must say that pays off pretty well in this episode. What'd you get?
I got Sailor Saturn with her glaive.
I feel like I'm always getting round ones because I try not to. The legs of the girl stick out.
Yes,
so
they do.
You know you're getting a person.
Character.
And it isn't that I don't want a character, because I'd love a Saturn. I don't have one, but I don't want to know what I'm getting.
Right.
So I end up getting like vaguely round stickers every time. But I got a good one.
What'd you get? Venus.
Perfect.
Perfect.
This might be crystal.
Can
It's
I see it
very sort
again?
of bright and rounded looking, like the crystal characters are.
It's kind of, I don't know.
Might be, but she's going like doo doo.
It's very
Doing
cute.
a little cute thing. So anyway, that's cute. Yeah. Good pairing though.
Yeah.
Or at
it's a good
least
pairing.
Pluto's got a good eye for talent. Pluto says, "If we're both defeated, who will save the princess?" Venus seems like she sees the wisdom in this and nods at Pluto. Like, let him go. I have your information. And Pluto nods back before charging the dollies, her staff held high. She says, "Go! Go!" And Venus steps out onto the decrepit bridge. Step by step, she begins to make her way across as we cut to Usagi in her field of flowers. Usagi calls out for Mamoru, and she hears a voice say, "Hey, are you looking for someone?" And she looks down, and she sees a flower talking to her. A dandelion with big eyes. Weren't there talking flowers in Alice in Wonderland? Isn't that a part of that?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, let's add Disney and Lewis Carroll to that suit. And the way the flower looks like a character from a Max Fleischer cartoon, I guess we'll just make this a class action lawsuit. We'll just call it good. I guess the excuse could be that if these illusions are, let's say, drawn from the subconscious of these 20th century young girls, then they're all going to be like media that they've consumed, fairy tales or something like that. I need a trap for this idiot. It's Alice in Wonderland, fine,
Yeah.
Come on, you hack. But if she starts fighting Darth Vader with a lightsaber, I'm calling DaiCon shenanigans. Usagi says, "Oh my god, a talking flower!" And the flower says, "Rude, I was just asking if you're looking for someone." Usagi bends over, never go to a second sentence with a talking flower.
Yeah, really.
She bends over and says, "I'm looking for someone very important. Did he come this way?" And we look back to see that all the flowers have faces now. And a pink lily says, "The most important person is yourself." And an evil-looking tulip says, "Yeah, he should have been looking for you." And a purple hibiscus, maybe? I don't know flower, says, "That's right." But Usagi says, no, Mamoru is under Nehellenia's curse. And the dandelion says, "Nehellenia's curse?" And all the flowers are like, "Ooh, scary, oh no." Usagi kneels down. Usagi, you're talking to flowers.
I know.
You're talking to flowers, girl. That's the first problem. That was your first clue. And she says, "Do you know Nehellenia?" And the flowers say, "No, but the curse sounds scary. You should give up. You got any Miracle Grow on you? You holding?" Usagi says, "Okay, well, I gotta go. I'm gonna go where he is." And things get trippy, man.
Yeah, they do.
The dandelion says, "He who?" And Usagi says, he's and the flowers say, "You can't remember? Well, you could stay here." Puppies.
Yes.
And we see Usagi smile, and her pupils get really big. She's gonna fail her drug tests.
I know.
She tries to get a job at Fruit Parlor Crown. Like, sorry, we can't take you. Back on the bridge, a plank breaks under Venus's kitten heel, and she nearly falls off the bridge, grabbing the rope just in time. But that darn rope, it immediately begins to fray.
Yeah.
As Venus pulls herself back up with great effort, she takes a moment to rest, and she looks back across the gap to see Pluto deliver a dead scream to her glassy foes, who reform immediately after being destroyed. Venus remembers Pluto's words, that they need a leader to unite them. And she asks herself, am I a leader? I was captain of the volleyball team, but this ain't no game. As she ponders, Pluto gets jacked by the dollies, taking multiple hits from their jagged feet and elbows. Remember, they're glass.
They are glass.
Yeah, you got the glass jaw now. Venus recoils in horror at the sight of her comrade's punishment, and she dashes back across the crumbling bridge, letting loose a Venus, Love, and Beauty shock, which smashes the glass enemies. She grabs Pluto's hand and says, "Let's go!" And the two run at full tilt across the bridge as the reconstituted dollies follow behind. As they cross, the ragged bridge gives out, sending everyone on it plummeting into the abyss below. So add Steven Spielberg to the class action suit.
Yes.
Prepare to meet Kali in hell.
But as the Senshi fall, a Venus Love Me chain arcs up and locks onto the remnant of the bridge, with Venus holding desperately to one end, and she's holding Pluto from falling with the other. As they dangle over the crevasse, Venus says, "Well, that ended rough." But thanks to the notes that appeared on my fan sub, we don't need a translation reword. She meant to say, "Iradesu ne," which means it ended well.
Okay.
But instead she said, "Aradesu ne," which means it ended rough. That's what my fan sub said.
Nice.
So my question is, this whole time, with all the malapropisms, can Minako not even speak Japanese?
No, she
Does
can.
she not talk good? Has there ever been a better time to refloat my theory that she's Hafu and maybe one of her parents is English?
I mean...
And she just spent a lot of time in England, away from the native country, and then came back and knew 3,000 instead of like the 10,000 characters? Although this isn't even a reading thing. This is a pronunciation thing.
It is a pronunciation thing.
Does she have a speech impediment?
I don't know. There's something going on. I don't know. I like your idea that she's Hafu.
I mean, having like characters do malapropisms, is an ancient tradition.
Of course.
Silly characters like, oh, I said something wrong or whatever. Great example. Dogberry. There you go. Suck on that. But like, why like this young girl? I guess we've talked about this before, right? I think the fans have told us before that like that's, like a trope in like an anime or whatever, but I don't know.
It seems to be like a very special case though with Minako, doesn't it? Because it happens so often.
Yeah. They're like, everybody's got to have a thing. Secret horn dog. Secretly gay. Makoto's, every guy looks like the same guy.
Yeah, right.
And then Minako's just can't talk. I don't know.
Seems like she got the raw end of the deal on that.
I guess we can have a little translation rewind as a treat.
Okay.
In the Viz dub available on YouTube, she says, "See, everything turned out A-okay." Which gets the point across, but pick something better because I listen while I read, and you would definitely hear a Japanese person say, okay.
Yeah, right.
There'd be 14 syllables in that. And that's
true.
not what the voice actress said. I can tell that. Well, Pluto only cares that what Venus did was reckless, and she says so. But Venus says, "Did you really think I would run away and leave my friend behind? This is an order from the leader. Let's combine our strength and rescue the princess." There's a moment of seriousness. And then Pluto starts laughing. And Venus joins in. And so does Nehellenia, who's standing on top of the bridge holding Venus's looping chain.
I know.
Now that's how you do a villain entrance. Where's this Nehellenia been the entire time? You see, Minako elevates everyone she's in a scene with.
That's true. She does.
Well, Nehellenia just drops the chain. Lets us down here, lets them down. No one-liner. It looks as if you're at the end of your rope,
That would have been good.
No parting thread, just goodbye, you're done, goodbye. She just drops them. So, good start, weak finish. And the two Senshi begin to fall into the depths, but two mirrors flash below them, and they both disappear. We're back to the field of flowers, where Usagi is really making some friends here. She's really working these flowers out. They're having a great time. They're talking about school and boys. She's like, "You guys ever think about how flowers are like a plant's sex organs? It's like they're just out there, man. They're just waving around." As this goes on, we hear Nehellenia say, "Even the White Moon Princess cannot defeat my nightmare." And we see an image of Nehellenia standing right there among the flowers in front of Usagi. She says, "However, I won't allow you to be so comfortable. I'll hurt you again and again until you feel my humiliation." She's going to lock the Cheetos cabinet.
Oh, no.
No. She's going to have it so the Domino's app always says the pizza guy is 5 minutes away.
Oh, no. That would be torturous.
Not cool, man. She raises her hand as if to strike Usagi. And as her hand comes down in evil glee, just before it hits her, it's stopped by a white glove that grabs her arm and twists it back. Sailor Jupiter is here. And she's grabbing her with just one hand, the other hand hanging free. As she says, "I won't let you lay one finger on Usagi." Nehellenia draws her hand back and tries to strike Jupiter, but the Senshi dodges, grabs Nehellenia's arm again, and hip tosses her like 30 feet away. It's enough that when Nehellenia regains control, she's floating in the air. Like she was just thrown into space, and she's like, "Oh wait, I can fly. I'm not going to space." And she just stays up in the air above the girls. Jupiter grabs Usagi and says, "Come on, wake up." But Usagi is like, it's like the word for smelling something. is smell, but the thing that you're smelling is a smell? Nehellenia says, it's useless. She'll never awaken from her dream. There isn't enough niacin in the world to help her. Jupiter trembles with rage, and as Nehellenia lowers back to the ground, she turns and says, bring her back now! But Nehellenia says, haven't you ever seen a nightmare before? Never had the girl at Victoria's Secret say, I'll go check in the back, and she never returns. She says, if she dislikes her dream, she'll awake on her own. But since that's not happening, she gave up everything to be engulfed in her sweet dreams. Sweet dreams are made of these.
That's right.
We cut inside Usagi's head, and it's just the land of chocolate from The Simpsons.
The land of chocolate.
We were talking about Nehellenia? That was 10 minutes ago. Nehellenia laughs, and Jupiter says, you're lying. You've locked Usagi-chan in this nightmare. And she charges at the Dark Queen. And I don't know if she's doing something with the dreams, but Jupiter's like, ah! And she does it for like 20 seconds. She's just like, ah! But as she swings at her, Nehellenia takes to the sky, and Jupiter misses, falling to the ground. Nehellenia says, shall I trap you in a sweet dream as well? And Jupiter's like, yeah, how about a oak evolution? That fires everywhere but leaves Nehellenia unscathed. As a cloud of flower petals disperses, Nehellenia says, this is my palace of nightmares that I use to control the kingdom of darkness. In Dragon Ball, you shoot at the bad guy, explosion, and dust or smoke clears, right?
Sure.
But in Shojo, you shoot at the bad guy, and flower petals clear. Oh no! What? Nani? She's still alive! We montage across the realms that we've seen previously, and we see the other Sailor Senshi trapped within their mirrors. Trapped in a mirror. Somebody call Warner Brothers. We have a Superman 2 violation. Back in the flower field, Nehellenia says, didn't you know I use dark energy to control the kingdom? Is this
dark energy?
Some kind of revelation?
Apparently it's...
Is she recapping her own history here?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think that the Senshi ever really got what the deal was with Nehellenia because she didn't ever take the time to tell them. She was too busy laughing and like shooting dark lightning.
That's true.
And throwing little children off of cliffs. But here she's like, hey, random Senshi, fifth on the call sheet. Didn't you know all this stuff about me? And I have the dark power and the kingdom and the hey and the ho and the power forever. Amen.
And the dark energy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pure energy.
Pure energy.
Pure energy.
Anyway, Jupiter says, Jupiter responds like you expect. She's like, this is your home? So you live here? You live right here? Oh, okay. The queen says, I was sealed by the White Moon Princess when I reached out for that world of light. But in the darkness, I am without equal. And she blasts Jupiter with dark energy, throwing her back and down to the ground beside Usagi. Nehellenia says, the White Moon's light does not reach this darkness. All of you together could not defeat me. And Usagi's like,
Wow, chocolate. Half price.
As Jupiter tries to get back up, Nehellenia says, next, I will extinguish the light of the White Moon. And she raises her hand to blast Usagi, but Jupiter steps in the way and takes the shot full on, going down to her knees. Nehellenia says, foolish. Do you intend to die for that girl? Is she even worth protecting? A girl who has thrown everything away for a sweet dream?
We were talking about chocolate?
That was 10 minutes ago.
Jupiter stands back up and says, you can't see? Even though Usagi is impulsive and a crybaby, she's late all the time and lazy. She fights with her sister or daughter constantly. She's weirdly lecherous. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. She's always cheering everyone up like the gentle moonlight. And she always takes action on behalf of others, even if it means sacrificing herself. Nehellenia just stares at her foes and scowls. But we see a flashback. And I believe that this is in Nehellenia's mind. This is what she is seeing.
Okay.
We flash back to the time that Sailor Moon sacrificed herself to save Chibi Moon. That one self-sacrificing act of point breaking. Showing the courage and the selflessness that Nehellenia herself has never possessed. Jupiter says, everyone loves Usagi. Don't you have any friends like her? Well, there was Captain Twink. He was a really good listener, but you murdered him! All my clown friends. All double dead. There were ghosts before, now they're really dead. Nehellenia says, shut up! And Jupiter puts her body over Usagi's as the Dark Queen fires again and again, blasting Jupiter over and over until her rage is spent. Jupiter collapses in front of Usagi, and her rose earring falls off. And there's no coming back from that.
No, there's not.
And Usagi, even through her stupor, sees this happen. Not cool, man. Nehellenia says, friends, don't make me laugh. One such as I does not need friends. I'll imprison you like the rest of your colleagues. Ooh, colleagues.
So fancy.
Jupiter, ESP Esquire, DSL. I don't know. Jupiter somehow still conscious. I just like say MD, PhD, BA.
Yeah, BS.
BS, for sure. Jupiter, somehow still conscious, reaches out to her friend as she too is encased within a mirror. And they need like a no.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, she just kind of goes burp, burp, done. Usagi looks down at the earring. A rose. A red rose.
Yeah.
And she remembers. She remembers a figure who was always there, who would always appear when she needed him. And her eyes return to normal. That Narcan is hitting! She grabs the earring and stands up, saying, Mamo-chan. Nehellenia can't believe this. She cannot believe this. And all around them, the sunny sky of the meadow shatters and becomes the red void of the dark world. Usagi says, Nehellenia! As Nehellenia floats before her, her melty castle in the background. She says, you awoke from my nightmare, but can you reach my palace and your beloved prince? Usagi immediately begins running towards the castle, but as she reaches the windy stair to the gate, a tangle of brambles appears in front of the path. Disney's online too? Something about intellectual property?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
totally.
right. If Usagi has to let her dangos down from a tower by the end of this, I think they got him dead to rights.
Yeah, I think so too.
You just go to negotiation at that point. As Usagi gapes in surprise, the brambles spread all the way up the long stairs to the castle, and the image of Nehellenia fades away laughing. Barefoot, Usagi enters the brambles, their sharp thorns catching on her clothes. She winces in pain but looks to the castle and says, wait for me, Mamo-chan, and continues to make her way up the treacherous path. From her throne room, Nehellenia watches and says, to this extent, she is a fool. I hope those thorns tear you to ragged pieces. Bitch! And listen to these words. Listen to these words. She says, your bloody figure is the very entertainment I seek. And I knew there was no way that the Viz sub could hold a candle to that. But oh my God, I was wrong.
Oh.
In the Viz dub, she says, I hope you die a horrible death, ripped apart by those thorns.
Oh my God.
I will feast my eyes watching the blood flow out of your body.
Wow.
I'm watching the wrong cut of this thing. That's pretty badass.
That is.
Well, Nehellenia thinks that she's got it pretty good. But we hear, how dare you? Is that? My God. Oh my God. It's Greta Thunberg. The pigtail pariah with the chair made from recycled materials. No. It's Chibi Moon and Sailor Saturn. And business is about to pick up. Nehellenia says, it's you. And Chibi says, separating a loving couple and even worse, torturing them, I won't forgive you. Saturn spins her glaive above her head and brings it down right under Nehellenia's chin, saying, release our prince and princess. And we will see you next week. End of show. That's it. There's nothing else. We're done. It's over. We couldn't have done this in 2 episodes. We did 6 episodes of this.
Yeah.
You show up, everything's fine. Ain't nothing bad happening today.
Yeah,
oh my God, Spider Queen. You're all in different little arenas in this thing, right?
Right.
And we, oh, what's gonna happen? Genie Moon's here.
I guess they did a lot in this episode, didn't they?
You think they did?
I do.
It makes you wonder what the hell they were doing in all the other episodes.
I know.
This is the problem with sandbagging. If you hold all the cool stuff back, most people won't make it to the cool episode.
No, you're right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so we're just like, just something, please happen. Anything. Just talking to some northern lights in the sky in this part of the country, in this time of year. And it's just like nothing's happening. And then Chibi's here. This is like John Cena showing up with Brock Lesnar.
I don't know who that is,
trust me, it's a big deal.
Okay, I figured it was a big deal.
Finally, something happens, and I mentioned it last week. We won't belabor the point, but they set you up to go like, oh boy, you're going to come back for the next one, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is episode 171, motherfucker. I'm in at this point.
Yeah, right.
At this point, you can only torture me. You can only make me crawl through the brambles.
Right.
To get to the part where something's actually going to happen. Whereas in the old days, something happened every episode. Some episodes more happened than in other episodes. Or it was more relevant to what was, the overarching plot was of the show or whatever. Sometimes Minako's running around with her heart in her hands. I don't know, but something happened.
Yeah, right. I really like the Senshi pairings in this and the previous episode. I think they're pairings we haven't seen that often.
Well, I mean, we saw them in our minds when we
did.
Called them out. But they are pairings that we don't see. I think they definitely were doing that on purpose. And then also, much like how this always works on me, I know that Tuxedo Mask is going to show up at the end of the episode. I know he's going to.
Sure.
But I always forget. Because whatever's going on, there's a bouncing, talking ball who's mad that they killed his brother-in-law or something like that.
Right.
There's always something going on. And he's balancing on an elephant or the other way around. And then, what's going to happen? Oh, obviously, a rose is going to come flying in every time. But there was a subversion this time because there is going to be no rose. Because he's,
hypnotized or what have you.
Yeah, because he's doing smack on the throne.
Right.
And so you know who the pairings are. In fact, the pairings are set up in such a way that they've got an odd number. So there's only going to be one person that comes out to help Usagi.
Yes.
And it's Jupiter. And you're like, okay, there you go. We got it.
Yeah.
And you forget. And then we go back to the throne room. And it's like, of course, who's missing?
Chibi
and Saturn.
Yeah.
They're back.
Jupiter must have really hit a nerve when she asked Nehellenia if she had a friend like that, because she tells her to shut up and just hits her again and again and again with her power.
Yeah. That's the one part of the episode that doesn't quite work for me.
Okay.
Not Jupiter coming, alone to the rescue of Usagi. I thought that was great, but none of the other Senshi in their battles, struck a nerve with her.
That's true.
It's not like we were like, oh, she smells. I don't smell. And then the next one's like, oh, your eyes are too close together. What are they talking about? I do wear a lot of eyeliner. And then the last one really gets her. Just that they kind of gave her that thing because she didn't have any other. She didn't have a dynamic to play off of.
That's true. With
another Senshi. And so instead it's like, why don't we love the bad guy? Maybe he'll shrivel up and die because it's a Madeleine L'Engle novel. I felt like ultimately the solution to that was them having Nehellenia kind of rehash her whole thing. But my whole problem with them bringing Nehellenia back is there's nothing new about her. It is the exact same thing. She's mad. She's just more mad at Sailor Moon. And maybe it's a translation thing, or maybe we need, I don't know, maybe people are joining the show and check out that Sailor Moon season 5. But she just goes over her thing again, like either it's something new for us
Right.
that they never told us, or it's something for people who are new to the show.
Which is weird. Like, why would you come in on this particular episode and be brand new to the show?
Well, like I said, I think they're literally trying to invent. There are no motivation. She says her motivation over and over. She hates your eyes. She hates your thighs. Whatever it is, she wants generalized revenge
right.
on the White Moon people. But they've got to come up with something for her to say because we know what Jupiter's going to say. You leave her alone.
Right.
She's got little boobs and she's ugly, but you leave her alone. Like how she negs her before she gives her the look. I'm being realistic here, okay? Not a perfect person, but pretty good ultimately.
Yeah, right.
You can just say that she's good. That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the negative first.
No, you don't.
Makoto. We all have that friend. But anyway, but the point is that she's got to have something to say. We know what our girl's going to say, and so Nehellenia's got to say something. And I don't know, what if they wrote it a little better so that it sort of worked its way into a friend thing? What if she attacked her as and why are you here? You know?
Yeah,
she calls
right.
everybody a fool, so there's nothing weird about her calling her a fool. But she's like, you're here. You think that she would do anything for you? You know, set Jupiter up. Show the resentment and show the whole thing where Nehellenia should talk long enough that we go, oh, she didn't have any friends.
Yeah,
she's lonely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But instead it's just blah, blah, generalized villain crap. And then Jupiter's like, leave her alone. She smells bad. You know, we know that. But come on. She's pretty good. She's okay. Yeah, I just wasn't not impressed by that. But, yeah. Otherwise, if this was one episode, it would be fine. But it's not.
Right.
It's 4/5 of an episode.
That's true.
And the other, we've got the first chapter, and here come all the other chapters in another episode. It's weird.
It is weird.
I've got a point of order for the episode.
Yeah.
I haven't checked who the chief animator or the director is, but awful lot of panties in this episode.
Yeah, there are.
Conspicuously.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Do we need to talk to whoever directed
or their
this?
cheer briefs or whatever they've got. I mean, it's
Right.
probably not, their underwear. But I mean, if they're white, they read as panties. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But, funny when Pluto and Venus are running another thing. And then obviously, Pluto's, knows what she's doing. She stops like a, karate move or something.
Right.
And Venus is just like, oh, burp, 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 burp. little panty flash, but fine.
Right.
Comedy bit.
Right.
But later on, when Jupiter shows up in the flowers and Nehellenia is above her, they just do upskirt shot, just look right up. Well, we're looking at Nehellenia. But then, just two tree trunks, in the frame, Jupiter's legs.
That's a good point.
And it's we didn't have to do that.
No, we didn't.
What? Are we working something out here? What's going on?
We're working out the underwear.
The director's finally I get my hands. I'm the first time director. First time, last time.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further...
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan.
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno has returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning alcopop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry!
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kyoro Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to be talking about kitsune.
Fox.
Yes.
Foxy.
It means fox in Japanese.
Okay.
And specifically, we're going to be talking about the yokai kitsune. So they have magical powers.
Right.
And
like a fairy tale creature.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Refresher. Yokai.
Mm-hmm.
A Yoma.
Yep.
One more. Kaiju. Yep. Yokai, not always bad.
Not always bad, yeah.
Does it mean monster, though? Or is it one of those things where it's like, some white guy's like, so what's it mean? And the guy's just like, monster.
I can't remember if it means monster. I mean, it's...
Like how kangaroo, it supposedly means, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if that's true or not, but right? Like the first Australian guys came in, the white guys.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, whoa, what a crazy creature. Native person, what is that? And they're like, kangaroo. Oh, cool name. But that's just like...
means I don't know what you're talking about.
They say kangaroo for everything. Sorry, it's so weird.
There is an illusionary fire in the forest in this episode that is put forth by Nehellenia's magic. And in Japanese folklore, foxfire, or kitsune-bi, is a red flame produced by kitsune. So the yokai kitsune.
Okay, cool. Cool story, bro. But like, what is it really? It's like St. Elmo's fire, or?
It's like kind of like Will-o'-the-Wisps. It's a
What's Will-o'-the-Wisp scientifically, though? Is that also St. Elmo's fire? I don't know why I just
why
watched
is it St. Elmo's fire?
You know St. Elmo's fire?
I've heard of the movie, but
no, it's like a static discharge that appears like on rocks sometimes.
Oh.
You ever wonder if this is all they're just lying to us? I liked the UFO and the X-Files stuff when I was younger. Kind of got less patience for it now. But it is like, does ball lightning exist?
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there a Bigfoot? Somebody seems like they're seeing something.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the point is that St. Elmo's fire, which, are there YouTube videos of it? Is a static discharge, like, on objects.
Okay.
And so I'm just guessing that that's maybe the root of what this mythical fire is.
I think that could be true, yeah.
Or they're just really imaginative.
They might be really imaginative, too.
Well, we know they are. They came up with a kitsune.
That's right. So kitsune are known to make themselves look like a human. As they age, this ability becomes even stronger.
They're reverse furries.
You're right. They are.
They're like, what's your Hume Sona?
What is Hume Sona?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Or no, it'd be like a skin Sona. All right, there we go. Second time. It's always the second time.
Because you have longer to think about
What's your skin Sona?
Oh my God. They can live to be over 1,000 years old, getting a new tail every 100 years, with the most powerful kitsune having 9 tails.
It's kind of like they have 9 lives.
Yeah.
But they can be over 1,000 years old.
Yes.
So at that point, you're like, I'm sorry, look, you've got all the slots are full. You have the maximum tail capacity.
Yes.
Okay.
No more tails for you.
All right.
While not domesticated, foxes and humans lived in close proximity to one another, especially prior to urbanization and industrial development, when much of the population were farmers. Kitsune venerated rank may have been obtained from their diet. Foxes eat agricultural pests like rats and mice, and thus protect rice crops. Foxes began appearing as godlike creatures with magical abilities in cultural records as early as the 8th century CE in Nihon Shoki. However, because foxes can also be pests, themselves, stealing food and killing livestock, they also began appearing in Japanese folklore as poorly intentioned tricksters.
What livestock are they? Like chickens?
Probably chickens.
A pack of foxes will take down an oxen like that.
Yeah, right.
Nothing but bones. They must have had chickens because the Chinese calendar.
Yeah, right.
There's a cock on it.
You're right. Oh my God.
Well, the store I went to, that's what they had. So they would have got them from the mainland. Okay. Yeah, foxes are naughty.
Yeah, they're up to no
They
good.
can be naughty.
Yeah. Don't let them into the hen house.
Or the cock house. Which is, it's just a bar down the way. Anyway, go ahead.
Good kitsune are often thought to be associated with the deity Inari, one of the chief kami or holy spirits in Japanese Shintoism.
Which one?
Inari.
Which one is that?
Inari is like the god for fertility.
Oh, okay.
And also rice crops.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think. Izanami.
Oh, okay,
and,
right. Another I name.
Yeah. Come on, Japan. We know you like the I, but come on. So Inami, okay.
Inari.
Inari, damn it.
Yeah, it's all good. You were just thinking of the other ones, so.
I've spoken about it before, but I have Japanese syllable dyslexia.
It's all good. I could see how that could happen really easily.
I always get them mixed up.
Yeah. Kitsune are depicted as being messengers for Inari, and they are envoys between the earthly and the heavenly spheres. They deliver news and advice to devout humans. Inari is primarily known as the god of rice cultivation, and therefore is worshipped by merchants and farmers. Inari is often depicted as being flanked by several foxes, with more than 30,000 foxes appearing in religious shrines around Japan.
She's rolling deep with foxes.
That's right.
Right.
Got all the messengers there.
Just picturing a god and then the cast of Robin Hood. Just
yeah, exactly. I love Robin Hood.
Running through the forest.
It's my favorite Disney movie.
Yeah, which I know. What's your skin zona?
Yeah, I mean they're talking foxes. It's great.
People know. You're talking to the internet. They know.
Oh my gosh. The origin of the mischievous fox in Japan may be from the Buddhist myth Yakan, which translates to wild dogs or jackals. They appear in Buddhist scripture as crafty shapeshifters.
They're the wild dogs?
The wild dogs, yeah.
The foxes are?
They become equated with that story.
Okay.
Yeah. So they appear in Buddhist scripture as crafty shapeshifters. When Buddhism was introduced into Japan in the 6th century, the Yakan's closest substitute in the wild, and thus the stand-in, was the fox. As such, the actions performed by the evil jackals in Buddhist tales were adopted into Japanese folklore, but with foxes replacing the jackals.
Oh, how do the foxes feel about that?
Probably not too great.
You're stereotyping us.
Yes.
We're not I don't even know any jackals.
My cousin, though, he knew a jackal one time.
Say no more.
According to folklore, the kitsune foxes, or the fox spirits, can bewitch people just like the tanuki. They have the ability to change shape into human or other forms, and to trick or fool human beings. While some folktales speak of the kitsune employing this ability to trick others, other stories portray them as loyal lovers, friends, and guardians. Folktales from China tell of a fox spirit called Holy Jing, also named as nine-tailed fox, that may have up to 9 tails. These fox spirits are adopted into Japanese culture through merchants as Kyubui no Kitsune, or literally 9-tailed fox.
Okay.
The earliest fox wife, or kitsune nyobo, tale type concerning a wife whose identity as a fox is revealed after being frightened by the house pet dog occurs in Nihon Ryoki, in an anthology of Buddhist tales compiled around 822. The story involves a man who takes a wife whose identity is later revealed to be a fox pretending to be a woman. The tale bears close resemblance to the Tang Dynasty Chinese story Renqi Zuan, the story of Lady Ren, and the possibility has been suggested that it is a retelling of the Chinese version.
Did we talk about this before? Like when we did 101 yokai stories or whatever?
We might have talked about it a little bit.
Or maybe guys in Japan are just, all the time they're just marrying magical creatures.
I think that is a thing that happens a lot. Yes.
How come are there never any magical boy creatures that a lady marries? I have sold a bill of goods here. What is this?
It doesn't seem like it.
An octopus man? Hold on. Wait a minute.
It seems like...
Actually, let me think about this.
8 arms to hold you? Yeah, I don't know why it isn't the other way around. Maybe it's always like, well, the woman, she's tricking him.
Yeah.
And
that's probably what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad to say.
Not that a guy can't trick a girl into marrying him.
Well, in the 60s they'll get Disney's Robin Hood, and then we'll know the truth. We'll see how it really pans out.
Yes. From Wikipedia, quote, as aforementioned, the fox wife narrative in Nihon Ryoki gives the folk etymology kitsune means come and sleep, while in double entendre the phrase can also be parsed differently as kitsune to mean always comes. There are a lot of breakdowns of possible meanings of the term kitsune.
That's not
too many to get into.
That's not getting by me. No, sorry. That one came right down the plate. Said, come and lay down. It always comes.
Yeah, right. I know.
Well, now we know why it's the wife. I don't know. Where am I going?
I don't know why it's the wife, but...
Do they often speculate that the name comes from a play on... We know that the Japanese love plays on words.
Yeah.
But even if you're going to like ancient etymology, you're like, oh, this word... some guy in like 2 BC was like, check, always comes. Check this out. We're gonna name it Always Comes.
I mean,
like, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like when you think about like a word, you're like, lithograph. That's a stone and it's a graph. It's a drawing. It's a drawing on stone.
Right.
Got it. No problem. But this is like, well, it seems like it's this, but actually, it might be a play on. How does anybody keep this straight?
I don't know.
These Japanese orthographers are on danger pay.
Well, and there's even more interpretations of what it could mean. So, but there's too many to get into right now.
All right.
But yeah, both of them are kind of humorous in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Come and sleep or always comes or yeah. Like, what are we talking about here?
Stop it. We're going to get back into that. Stop.
I will give one other example from Wikipedia. Otsuki Fumiko in Daigenkai proposes that the word comes from kitsu, which is an onomatopoeia for the bark of a fox, and ne, which may be an honorific term referring to a servant of an Inari shrine. So
kitsu is the fox's bark.
Yes.
So that's what the fox says.
Yes, that's what the fox says.
We got our answer.
We did. The Zenko, literally good foxes, are kind-hearted celestial foxes associated with Inari. They are sometimes simply called Inari foxes in English. On the other hand, the Yako, or literally field foxes, also called Nogitsune, tend to be roguish or even malevolent.
So these are the foxes that they're from the PG-13 movie.
That's right.
I don't know where these guys are coming from yet.
They could have a little trick up their sleeves. We don't know.
I still like that they're Yakko.
I know.
Like the Animaniacs. They're not foxes, are they? We don't know what they are. They're just Animaniac animals.
Yeah, we don't know what they are. Because they look like kind of like cats in a way.
Yeah.
But they don't have whiskers.
I used to know the lore of the Animaniacs, but when you think about it, I know there's a Hulu show recently, but like, that was so long ago. I don't remember any of that stuff.
It was so long ago.
Steven Spielberg stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're indeterminate animals, but I think they're supposed to be references kind of to the indeterminate animals of the 30s and 40s cartoons, like Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, or Mickey Mouse.
I was going to say, it reminds me of Steamboat Willie in a way.
Yeah, right.
So,
which is in public domain.
Yes, it is.
So let's just do something with that.
Yeah, horror movies. Let's go.
Right. I did see somebody, I'm sure there's a lot of these, but on YouTube, a guy was like, enjoy my film. And then he just played Steamboat Willie, but then he just did like dumb voices for all the characters and like fart noises. So I don't know. I guess it's a statement on art, or at least the the restrictions around art and intellectual property.
That's kind of funny.
But sometimes a work of art is more of a statement than something to enjoy.
That's true.
See most of Andy Warhol's output.
After reaching 1,000 years of age and gaining its 9th tail, a kitsune turns a white or golden color, becoming a tenko, or heaven celestial fox, the most powerful form of the kitsune, and then ascends to celestial realm.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's like the Super Saiyan fox.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then can good and bad ones do this?
I think you can, if you get to have your 9th tail, I think you can become good, even if you were...
Oh, you're just, suddenly the sins are washed away.
I think so.
Okay. Here's your new cartoon for perverts. Here's your new cartoon. It stars anthropomorphic foxes. They're all kitsune, but there's the Autobot kitsune and the Decepticon kitsune, right?
Okay, sure.
And then like one of the Decepticon leader kitsune, I'm only using those names just so we all know immediately what that means.
Yes.
Is on its 9th tail.
Okay.
We can't let him get his 10th tail, because he'll ascend to have the celestial realm and cause mischief there.
Yes.
But then maybe we learn something about ourselves. Maybe we learn that even naughty foxes can achieve
go to heaven.
Enlightenment.
Yes.
Maybe we need that.
Maybe that's the story that
maybe
we always
heaven
need to tell.
Needs a bad boy. I'm having all kinds of ideas about things for perverts.
Oh my God.
I just keep thinking of like, you haven't been to some of the places on DeviantArt that I have, so don't worry about it.
Oh my goodness.
It's pretty cute though, right?
Yeah, it's cute.
Robin Hood Fox.
I like it.
That Maid Marian.
Robin Hood Fox.
What's under that wimple?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
I always when I was a kid, I would take a shirt and put it over my head. And so it could be like a wimple.
But
or like a princess,
Of course you wanted to be Maid Marian.
Of course I did.
Why not Robin Hood?
Oh, I loved Robin Hood, and I think he was like the best character, but I wanted to be Maid Marian. I don't know.
You could be Robin Hood.
Sure, I could be Robin Hood.
All right.
I don't know why I didn't want to be Robin Hood.
Gender roles.
I guess so.
But even, all right. How old are we talking?
That they are? In
No,
the
yeah. 18, unless it's relevant.
No. I don't know, like 5 or 6.
Okay, all right.
So.
But it's just like, let's have our daughters want to be active characters.
I agree.
Instead of like Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio in the Kevin Costner 1991 smash Robin Hood Prince of Thieves.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She's doing stuff.
Yeah.
She needs to be rescued still, but she's swinging candelabras at people's heads and things.
Well, I think Maid Marian did stuff in the Disney movie.
Like what? Whatever the Aristocats lady did. Because they reused the animation.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she came to their camp and...
That's true.
Visited them and...
She had to struggle out of that t-shirt every day. And back in.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. She was supportive of Robin Hood.
Okay. She actively supported him.
That
explains a lot about you.
Oh my God. Kitsune are particularly well known for shape-shifting into beautiful women. Common belief in feudal Japan was that women encountered alone, especially at dusk or night, could be a kitsune. Kitsune gao, or fox face, refers to a human female who have a narrow face with high cheekbones, close set eyes, and thin eyebrows. Traditionally, this facial shape is considered appealing, and some tales accredit it to foxes in human form. Variants on the theme have the kitsune retain their foxy tails, such as a coating of fine hair, a reflection that shows its true form, or a fox-shaped shadow.
Where are we at on the Yaiba?
On the what?
The Yaiba.
What's the Yaiba?
Teeth.
Oh! Yeah. Sometimes I think they have pointy teeth, too. So, yeah, this would come in handy if you have a Yaiba. And then maybe...
So the kitsune woman would be going to the dentist to get that shaved off.
No, you're right.
He's like, oh, I put them on. She's like, yeah, but can you just take this down a little bit?
Yeah.
Here? He's like, I can glue something. I can glue more on to cover it. I don't. He only does one thing, so I could glue an extra tooth on. All right. Yeah.
In some tales, kitsune hang on to and have difficulty hiding their tails when they transform into a human being. Looking for the tail when a fox gets drunk or careless is a common technique of enlightening the creature's real nature.
When they get drunk?
Yeah.
How often are they getting drunk?
That's a good question. It kind of sounds like, the way they make it sound, it sounds like it's happening quite a bit.
Oh, that's a hard day of mischief. Let's hit the cap and tap. It's even tougher if you've got more than one tail.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you had like 9 tails?
You get into like a shot contest, a la Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
Right.
And so this is the scene in the movie. Like you prevail, right? The other guy slumps on the table, and you're like, yeah, and then 9 tails just shoot out from behind you. Whoops! Check, please.
Oh my gosh!
I feel like Kitsune would be doing the check, please bit a lot.
I think you're right. That just strikes me as a trickster move that they would go for.
Say check, please, in Japanese.
Cheku pleasu.
Cheku pleasu.
Kitsune can also be discovered through the fear and hatred of dogs. Sometimes they are so upset by a dog's presence that they return back into their form as a fox and flee.
Well, that gives the game away right there.
Yeah, then you're just kind of screwed.
What you have to do is, try to lead the dog into like some kind of trap that you've prepared. It's like an Alf situation, right?
Okay, sure.
Alf's always trying to off the family cat, which I don't think you can get away with that on a sitcom in this day and age.
No, I don't think so either.
Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. So you got like why is there a noose, in the middle of the hallway?
Oh my God.
Nothing. Is the dog back yet?
Other paranormal abilities commonly attributed to Kitsune include possession, generating fire or lightning, invisibility, flight, willful manifestation in the dreams of others, and the creation of illusions so detailed to be almost indiscernible from reality. Some tales speak of the Kitsune with even greater power, such as driving people mad, able to bend time and space, or take fantastic shapes such as an incredibly tall tree or a second moon in the sky. It's a wide range of abilities there.
This is some like Mort Weisinger level power. This is pre-crisis Kitsune here. They can just basically do whatever they want.
Yeah,
whatever the story requires.
Yeah.
So, I get a dog, I guess. Why doesn't everybody have a dog then? If they think that these like superhuman X-Men are running around everywhere.
That's a good question. I guess if you're afraid of Kitsune, you should have a dog.
I see a lady walking at night by herself. Get her.
Yeah.
No, don't get her. Run away. Get your dog.
Get your dog, yes. Other Kitsune have characteristics reminiscent of vampires or succubi and feed on the life or spirit of human beings, generally through sexual contact.
We've talked about this before, right? Like the Japanese up until, I don't know, Bram Stoker or maybe Christopher Lee, they didn't have like a blood drinking kind of thing, did they, for vampires? It was mostly like
I don't think they
spirit
did.
or energy, right?
I think it was more spirit.
Who are the ones, the heads that come off?
Oh boy.
Remember the vampires that like at night their heads come off? Whee!
I can't remember.
They hide their bodies somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they drink blood.
I can't remember either.
I'm gonna ask a friend of mine who's like a monster expert, but there's other South Pacific vampires that
sure
are blood drinkers. But yeah, I think you always hear about like they're sucking your soul out or whatever.
I think so. Like your life force or what have you, your spirit.
Right. Great movie. that I bet that's popular in Japan.
I bet it is.
That thing's like an anime. That movie.
Yeah, it is like an anime. It's a good movie.
Good. It's a fun to watch movie.
It's definitely a fun to watch movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like the Remains of the Day or anything.
No.
Great vampire movie title.
That is.
Remains of the Day.
Kitsune Tsuki literally means the state of being possessed by a fox. The sufferer is typically said to be a young woman who the fox enters beneath her fingernails or through her breasts.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We're going to have to roll this back here.
Yeah.
There's a big gap between those two.
I know.
So to speak. So it's either under the fingernails,
yes,
or between the breasts. So basically,
through her breast.
Through the breast.
So I don't even know what that means. Does that mean through the nipples?
Reverse.
Does it mean
nursing?
Yeah.
Reversing. But what does that have anything to do with each other?
No, they don't. I don't know.
It's just like in the north. Oh, in the north, kids they do this. In the south, they're like. That's just where they took two examples of two different stories. Where one guy's like, I don't know, fingernails. The other guy's like, oh, this is boobs for sure. And they're like, we could do either of those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
I'm looking for the connections in folklore, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't know. They just feel like there are places where you're vulnerable or something like that.
Oh, did a torturer write these things?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I'd go for either the fingernails or the nipples in that case.
Oh my gosh.
Depending on. Weird. It's got weird. Kitsune Tsuki.
Yes. Helping someone to get rid of a fox spirit was done via an exorcism, often at an Inari shrine. If a priest was not available or if exorcism failed, alleged victims of Kitsune Tsuki might be badly burned or beaten in hopes of driving out the fox spirits.
It's not funny.
No. The
I need an old dog and a young dog. Yeah, that always works.
Yeah, I know, right?
We just beat the crap out of them, and they're pretty quiet after that.
Yeah, this will get the spirit out of them. The whole family or of someone who's thought to be possessed might be shunned by their community. So
okay, so this is all fun and games, but like we have like real examples, recorded examples, legal examples of people accusing people of being witches,
right?
In the Western tradition. Is there something like that in Japanese? Was there a Salem Kitsune trials? Ding, ding, ding. Put that down.
I don't think there was a Kitsune trials, but there are quite a few examples of people thought to having Kitsune Tsuki. And so it was described as a disease early in the Heian period.
Okay, well, that's pretty far back.
Yeah, and it remained a common diagnosis for mental illness until the early 20th century.
Okay, I was going to say, until 1932.
Yeah, right.
All right.
So that's a little upsetting that it was still thought of as a reliable way to diagnose somebody.
But I talked about the psychology guy.
Yeah.
So you know the guy, and that was like in the mid 19th century. So are we talking about like country doctors, like way out in the sticks doing this?
I don't
or did
know.
they come up with some sort of we're all open-minded people? There's a scientific element, and then of course there's the Kitsune Tsuki element. Kitsune Tsuki are actually microorganisms that get into you and
underneath your fingernails.
Yeah, right.
or through your
ladies,
breasts.
keep your bras on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, was there some sort of that's what's fascinating to me, kind of folk science. Oh, I'll write that down too. I'm just killing it today. Yeah, it had to be something just like some yokel was like, oh, he's probably a little kitsune.
I guess so. It's
motor cars exist. Terry. This isn't the Heian period anymore.
That's right. Possession was an explanation for the abnormal behavior displayed by the afflicted individuals. The superstition has lost favor, but stories of fox possession still occur, such as arguments that members of the Shinryu-ko cult had been possessed. These are the people who did the sarin gas attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's not let them off the hook.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm sure with the internet, it's really taken off. Now you can, make that your whole thing.
It's Kitsune Tsuki, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just a little Kitsune Tsuki. Working on my first tail.
Oh my god.
Well, I guess you'd have to already. I'm working on my second tail. Second time.
Depictions of kitsune or people possessed by them may feature round white balls known as hoshi no tama, literally star balls. Tales describe these as glowing with kitsune bee or kitsune fire. Some stories identify them as magical jewels or pearls. When not in human form or possessing a human, a kitsune keeps the ball in its mouth or carries it on its tail.
Okay, so this is like, does it glow?
Yeah, it kind of glows.
So this is like the will-o-wisp thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So that's how we started all of this in the first place. So it kind of comes together now.
Yeah.
Is that the only place that the kitsune fire is, in the ball?
No, you can see it. It'll be like in the air and stuff like that too,
right.
kind of floating around.
Yeah, but I mean that's this. Okay, now this is the science part.
Yeah,
that could explain the phenomenon then.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, from Wikipedia.
Flaming balls.
From Wikipedia, Kimimori Sarashina, a researcher of local stories, summarizes the features of the kitsune bee as follows. In places where there was no presence of the fire, mysterious flames like those on a paper lantern or a torch would appear in line and flicker in and out, with fires that had gone out sometimes appearing in yet another place, so that if one attempted to chase after what was behind all this, it would disappear in the middle. When they appear between spring and autumn, they show up especially in hot summers and appear easily when it is cloudy, when the weather is changing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that sounds like a phenomenon. Is this related to or connected at all to don't ghosts have like balls too? Whenever they depict ghosts in like anime.
Yeah.
Or folklore, there's always like little orbiting little mini spirits around them,
okay.
Little flaming type things.
I guess that's right. I don't know. I don't remember.
When Minako tells a ghost story and they put her in the white robe,
Yeah.
It always has like, there's like 2 or 3 things like kind of floating around her head.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Does she have balls? Ghost balls?
Is it kitsune bee?
If anybody was going to be a kitsune.
Couldn't you see her being possessed?
I was just trying to think of where on DeviantArt I've been. You'd probably find that. That's, don't Google that.
Yeah. Typically the color of the fire is red or orange, but there have been several examples of observers that have seen blue flames. Kitsune are thought to employ their kitsune bee to lead travelers astray in the manner of will-o'-the-wisps.
Sure.
When it's a sunny afternoon without a cloud in the sky and it rains, it's known that a fox's wedding is taking place. Yes.
Isn't that ironic? Okay. I'm listening.
Okay.
I didn't get an invitation, I'll tell you that.
Mount Kirin in Aga Town, Niigata, holds the record of the most foxfire sightings in the world and is the capital of fox lovers. The Fox Wedding Parade Festival is a pretty designed event where procession participants, tourists, and townspeople dress up as foxes and form a wedding procession, while the dark bridegroom and his snow white bride stroll down the street to ultimately end up at the altar. The story of the fox's wedding, the kitsune created a rain on a sunny day to trick humans into staying inside so they could have their wedding.
We don't want any humans messing this up for us.
Mm-hmm. We had a day like this just yesterday.
Yeah,
where
it's called
like,
Fur Fest.
Fur Fest? What?
No,
It was raining outside, but it was sunny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it was a fox's wedding somewhere.
But if that is unique, wouldn't people, sure, they don't want to get wet, but wouldn't they be like, whoa, I'm outside because I'm looking, it's like a sun and a rainbow and it's, oh my God, a fox wedding. You would want the most like boring day, but we'll take that one, right?
Yeah, right.
It's just gray. It seems like it's probably going to rain. You can't fire the grill up. You're not going to play pickleball or anything like that.
Right.
You know? And then maybe, ching, 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 ching. Let's stay inside. Shut the blinds and change your minds.
Yeah, I don't know if it was raining on a sunny day, if I would be like, oh, wow, it's raining. I better not be outside.
Right. You can probably still make it to the store.
That's right. So that was just a look at kitsune and their magical abilities.
I didn't know we'd be talking about this, so I didn't try to look through anime, but I mean, there's got to be a million examples of kitsune in anime and Japanese TV.
For sure.
Isn't that Korean show that came out a couple years ago? That's like my girlfriend's
is a fox.
Is a kitsune.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure they've made a lot of content out of this.
I think so. I mean, it's kind of like built-in anime-y kind of thing.
What? Careful. That's my term. So my question is, what? Look, it's a compliment. I'm not obsessed, but I'm interested because it sounds interesting. What's the furry situation like in Japan?
Oh my
God.
God.
Furries? They must have furries in Japan.
They must.
But is it very popular, more or less popular than it is in America? And then I was thinking what's the country that's we have no time? Germany. What if it turned out that Germany had the highest ratio of people with fursonas out of any country? That would surprise you, wouldn't it?
It would surprise me.
But if I told you that was true of Japan, you'd be like, makes sense.
Figures.
Yeah. So sometimes countries do things to create their reputations internationally, but sometimes they're unfairly maligned or just, unfairly prejudiced against.
Yes. I mean, maybe it's prejudice of us to think that it would not be a big deal in Japan for this to happen at all.
That's true. My son is a furry. Living in his tiny apartment.
Oh my God.
In Tokyo.
His furry costume.
Where's he put the litter box?
Oh my gosh.
They have a thing for that. It's over the washer, right?
Oh my God.
Which is over the sink, and then it's all, it's all modular.
Right.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if furries are it's Freudian. I wonder if kitsune are popular right now, or if they're on a rise. Or I'd have to look at one of those heat maps or hit graphs for Google or something like that. Because it seems like that's a lot of lore. Yes. And it's definitely one of the funner things to think. To think that your neighbor was one of the vampires whose heads comes off. That's not very fun.
No.
But it's fun to be like, that lady that lives by herself. Oh, watch out. She's probably a kitsune. Those things propagate over the years.
Right.
And so I wonder if with the rise of technology and anime guys with big swords and just other things to think about, if that has, grown in esteem. Or if we, not so much anymore. Because something like Journey to the West, old tale, passed down, lots of stuff happens in it, interesting characters, interesting events. And then that, finds its way into many, many animes. Of course, Dragon Ball being probably the most recognizable.
Right.
And so that's found an entirely new life, even though it didn't need one, in popular entertainment. And so I just wonder... if kitsune is a go-to thing, or if Toei's no, we did 6 kitsune animes last year. We're not buying this one.
I don't know. One thing that I thought of though is okami. Isn't okami a kitsune in a way?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, okami or amaterasu is a wolf.
Okay,
but
that's
it does
right.
involve divine celestial creatures.
Right.
Who I'm sure probably cleave to, a horoscope or some idea of, the 12 celestial creatures or something like that.
Sure.
And so, yeah, as a wolf, that is the physical embodiment of Amaterasu in that world, which is supposed to be like a magical Japan. They go around and like meet and hook up with and free all the other magical animals to fight Orochi, the 8-tailed dragon, however many tails it has.
Okay.
The dragon of legend.
Oh, right. Okay. I don't know why I thought Okami was kitsune then.
No, it's a wolf.
Yeah. Okay.
Okami.
Okami.
Dun 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 dun. What's that drum?
Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? There's no food in this episode.
No. Unless you're gonna,
eat glass.
Eat glass. Eat a knuckle sandwich.
That's right.
Eat this glaive. Yeah. We'll get food again someday.
Someday. And villain gauge, where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. No new villain to rate.
Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, you know what? It's in the record.
Yeah.
When we publish all of our findings at the end of this thing, there will be this spot that just goes, nothing there. You go, what was this COVID? No, it was the great Nehellenia drought of 24.
That's right.
Where there was no villains, no room for anybody else.
She had to take up the entire
Just
space.
this lady, and then she doesn't even have like funny clown people. Her bad guys turn into her. So it's just her all day long.
You're right. I do have some trivia for this episode.
Great.
This is the last episode for Mirror Parody appear in, so her glass dollies are going away.
Oh, okay.
Sailor Venus uses Venus Love Me chain for the last time in this episode. When Sailor Mars uses Mars Flame Sniper, its point has a cross shape, but in the usual animation sequence, it is flat.
Cross?
So it's like this, like there's a point, and then there's like...
Oh, like a thing on the arrowhead or behind it?
The arrowhead has two axes,
the two
like
little
this.
barb type things.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But,
you can't tell that from the side. It just looks like it's a flat point on the side.
Animators like, I'm going to give some extra juice.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to put something extra in my paycheck this week. And the editor's like, this doesn't look like the other ones. What are you doing?
Gotta keep the same narrative.
Stay on brand.
That's right. So now we're up to our rating. I like that Neptune is encouraging Mars to hit Nehellenia with her attack, even if it would hit Neptune.
Right.
I like how Pluto says that there's only one person right now who can bring us together as our leader, and that person is you, Sailor Venus. I don't like that Usagi forgets Mamo's name and who she's looking for and why. I like Mako's speech to Nehellenia where she says that Usagi always brightens up our lives and that she's someone who's always willing to help others, even if it means sacrificing herself.
Mm-hmm.
I like that seeing Mako's rose earring snaps Usagi out of the nightmare and she remembers Tuxedo Mask. I actually thought a lot of this episode was pretty good, even though we're still in the Nehellenia realm. I'm actually going to give it 4 out of 5 roses.
Okay. It's pretty good. I don't always do this, but sometimes, little inside baseball, sometimes I do write something down before the episode's over, and I'm like, this number's not changing. This is what it is. Because I suppose, well, I guess you can guess. It's either a 1 or a 5 usually, right?
Yeah.
It's rare that you would go, I'm completely ambivalent about this episode, and we're 8 minutes in. But the Venus-Pluto scene, if I could rate scenes, 5 stars.
Yeah, fantastic.
Sure. Or 5 roses. And everything else, I was like, I think I'm just going to write down a 3. And that was maybe 12 minutes in, and the episode kept going, and we had the Jupiter's scene, with her standing up for Usagi, and There's a nice like violin version of, Makanai playing under it.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then the rose earring bit.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's a 4. All right, it's okay. We got 4 minutes left. It's a 4. All right, great. And then it kept kind of escalating. Everybody's doing stuff. And then Chibi and Saturn come in at the end. And
Yes.
it's like, I think we've achieved a 5. I think it's a 5.
Oh my gosh.
It's a weird episode.
It is.
And maybe it's just, a gigantic ray of light in this incredibly cloudy day. The kitsune would not get married on this day. But there's some good stuff in it. Like, I like the idea that the older Senshi are inspiring the younger ones.
Yes.
The outers are giving tips to the inners. And we've done that. There's a lot of ways you could do it, but we've done it through this ridiculous, tournament-based thing where they all get separated. You could have done anything with that, but they did that specifically to go, let's have these guys start interacting.
Yes.
They're not just going to show up and be like, oh, it's those weird girls who are in love with each other. I like that. We've got some stakes,
yes.
kind of. The stakes have always been get Mamo back, I guess, and stop Nehellenia from doing something. But now it's very clear that he'll be hers forever, whatever that means. And also she basically let slip that her goal is to destroy the light of the white moon. I don't know how she's going to do that, but we need that light of the white moon.
Yeah.
It's important. That's how we
Yes.
do everything on this show, right? That's how they get all their powers. So somehow she thinks that she can destroy the very source of their powers and their legacy. So that's stakes.
Yeah.
There's some good Ray stuff. In the
Yeah.
episode. I always like it when there's some good Ray stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, for all those reasons, I think I'm not embarrassed. I think it's a 5.
That's awesome.
It took a while for me to kind of awaken from my torpor from the previous 3 or 4 episodes. But yeah, I think that they brought something. It's a goulash, it's not fancy, but they stuffed it with enough that I think it reaches a 5.
Nice. My English title is Pair Up, Teamwork, Go.
You stole that from a real show. That sounds like a real show.
It does
I
kind
can
of
see
sound like a real show.
helmeted people riding motorcycles with that over it. My title is, I didn't say I was going to put a lot of work into the title, but still kind of musical. Mine is Bramble On.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 172. I no Moon Pawa, Akumu no Owaru Toki in Japanese, and the English translation, Moon Power of Love, The Nightmare Ends.
Don't give me hope. Don't do that. All right, well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it, I suppose. Either way, yeah. Well, look, let's talk about things ending and things beginning as well. Because that's implied,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Nothing ever really ends.
That's right.
No one ever really dies. On our Patreon, we've been making some switches, some changes, and switching things up. And we have currently put Animetification on rest. Mm-hmm. Our podcast where we watch randomly selected anime, talk about it, talk about whether we would, watch another episode. We've reached 100 episodes.
Yes.
Pretty proud of that. And I think the concept is proved. And so we're going to kind of put that aside as we explore some other things on the Patreon. Of course, we have our, I was going to say long running, but I mean, I guess it just runs as long as it does. I've done it for 19 episodes. My Revolutionary Girl Utena podcast.
Yes.
That's going on. We also have our feature Sailor Cinema, where we talk about Japan and anime-related movies. Mm-hmm. And we're going to add something to kind of fill in the gap where Animetification was before.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard about this, but did you know that Studio Ghibli will receive an honorary Palme d'Or at Cannes
I think I
this
did
year
see
in
that
May?
recently. Yeah.
Studio Ghibli.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, an honorary. Like an honorary Oscar. Oh, not a real Oscar.
Yeah, right.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Plenty of very talented actors, directors who just never, for whatever reason, got voted in, get the honorary Oscar. That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal for Studio Ghibli. And, just pretty much known the world over as synonymous with good anime.
Yeah.
Prestige Japanese cartoons.
Yes.
So in order to honor that and to really, explore that world, we are launching a Studio Ghibli podcast on our Patreon. Name forthcoming.
Yes.
And it will be us watching every film from Studio Ghibli and also exploring some of the Isao Takahata and the other guy. Anime was a mistake. Miyazaki.
Hayao Miyazaki. Yeah.
Sorry. It's the Japanese name dyslexia thing.
It's all good.
Some of their work outside of it as well. Some of their first writing and directing duties. But yeah, basically a comprehensive look at the works of Studio Ghibli and its related founding artists on our Patreon at the Inner Senshi level. So check that out.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I have not. Okay, our dynamic will be.
Ghibli fan.
Completely sold.
Yeah.
Needs some selling over here on my side. There's a couple Ghibli films I like. There's a couple that I don't like.
There's
and to
some
be honest,
you haven't seen.
Most of them I haven't seen. And so it won't exactly be a expert noob thing, but it'll definitely be us coming at it from different perspectives.
Yes.
And with open minds.
Yeah.
I want to believe.
Okay. So that's great.
You ever make an alien one?
No, I don't
about
think
aliens?
so.
Yeah, they're always magic creatures or whatever. So.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's one of the things that I'll be harping on. But yeah, if you want access to that, join us on our Patreon, patreon.com/Sailor Noob. And I don't mean to tease you too much. That's all we're prepared to announce right now, but we do have more stuff coming in the future. So keep an eye out for that. We've got, free updates. You can always join the Patreon for free and then see what's on the menu. This is the thing where you go outside the restaurant and you go, interesting, looking at the menu. Should we go inside? Oh, we can't afford this. You can afford this. This isn't that big of a deal. But yeah, check it out. It's at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. We'd love to have you.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Bramble on!